Is there more gains for Litecoin and Bitcoin? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here with your daily update. Going to take a look at Litecoin and then take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at my targets and see how they're doing. And also at the end, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin to gold comparison. If you haven't seen that yet, stick around. Pretty interesting. Also, I want to thank everybody for all the subscriptions and all the comments you guys have been leaving. And yeah, thanks for everything. Let's get into the charts.
1, 2, 3, jump!
All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anyone that's doing any trading or any investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, before we begin, I want to let everybody know, if you haven't already or you're new here, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. Tick the little bell to get you notified when I post new videos. And also, if you would, leave your comments and give it a giant thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot, guys. The more you comment, the more likes it gets, the more YouTube puts it out there, and it helps the channel grow. I really appreciate it, guys. So and also I want to say I will never charge for any services or whatnot. I'm not here to make money off you guys. I'm here to share my technique and my methods, and hopefully it'll help some people out. So anyways, getting into the charts here, we're looking at Litecoin in the daily. And as you can see, I have my targets here. And for those of you that haven't watched my videos before, we'll quickly go through the targets and how I got them. So looking at the rising channel we have here, now we're going to take a look at the bearish scenario, and we're going to take a look at the bullish scenario afterwards. So looking at the bottom of this channel here, if we were to come down and test the top of this channel, which at some point I believe we are going to, and it doesn't hold, you know, then we're looking at, and I'm going to move this up a little bit, guys, and I'm going to actually move this up to this resistance line we have here. Old support become new resistance. We tested it here and got support, or old resistance become new support. So this would be the support line around the $41 range, which would bring us back to the bottom of the channel if we were to break through the top of the channel. But as you can see, we are in the daily, we're above the 200 EMA, and I believe that once we broke through this with conviction here, I believe that should hold as our new support. So anyways, like I said, we'll look at the bullish or the bearish scenario first. So let's do a measured move. If we were to break out, if we were to test the top of this channel and break down through, we would be looking at, you know, the 23.85 range, or double bottom range around the $22 or $22 area. So that's the measured move to get that target. Now we're going to look at the bullish targets I have. And guys, I am still bullish here. And when I say bullish, I'm definitely not saying we're going to the moon from here. I'm saying I'm bullish towards these targets. And then after these targets, I do believe we'll have a correction. And if you guys have been watching my channel, I do believe, no guarantees obviously, but I do believe we've had our lows over here in the $22 range. And that's not to say there's not a possibility of a double bottom, or, you know, there is a possibility we still go lower. You know, I'm not gonna tell you that it's guaranteed that we don't go lower, but in my opinion, as of how everything's looking now, I do believe we've hit our bottom over here. So anyways, moving on, as you can see, my EMAs here are starting to cross back over the 200 EMA, which is a bullish sign, especially on top of this upper trend line. So let's look at the bullish targets and how I got them. So First of all, with this one here, you'll see there's a bull flag. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. You'll see there's a bull flag, or a flag pull here with a bull flag, and we did a measured move off the breakout here up to the top of the flag pull, and then to where we broke out, which was right here. We see the flag and then the breakout, and that's what got my target here of the 5604, which we had hit on this candle here. So I'm gonna go ahead and, well, I'm gonna leave that here for now. So anyways, our next target would be the $59 range, which we are attempting to hit now. And how I got that target, guys, is we measure from here, this flag pull where it broke out, and that is off of this little flag here is what got me to the $60 range, $59, $60 range, which I believe we're headed to now. And again, keep in mind, if we do break back down, we're going to test this top of this channel for support. And like I said, we also have the 200 EMA for support. So watch those areas real close, guys. And the next target up here to the $64 range. We'll get into them targets in the 4-hour, but I'm going to go into the RSI real quick, show you what I'm looking at here. As you can see, I have this rising wedge drawn, and we've been getting resistance off the top of the wedge and support off the bottom. Right here, it was almost like a little bear trap and then pop back up in, and that's why I believe we do have more to go up. I'm going to go into the 4-hour. Whoops. Sorry about that. I'm going to go into the 4-hour chart, or 4-hour RSI. And I know this is weird, guys. I had this symmetrical triangle drawn here, but I've left these lines here because they're significant. As you can see, when we broke down through here, came back up, tested it for resistance, got rejected, came back up, blew through it, came back up, test the top, came back down through the bottom, and then back up. And now we're testing. We tested the top for support, and we got support, and I do believe we're coming up here. And if you zoom in, I'll show you the RSI target, which it's not, you can't really judge it for price, but if you look at this, if I draw this line here, you'll see a bull flag in the RSI right here, a falling wedge or bull flag that we've broken out of, and usually the target of that is back up to the peak, which would bring the RSI back up to the $81 range, which is why I do believe we are going to continue up here for a little bit. Get rid of these lines, get back into the chart, and now we're in the 4-hour, and we're going to take a look at in the 4-hour at these targets and how I've gotten them. So let me zoom out a little bit. Now we're going to look at what I was looking at over here as a Adam and Eve, and the neckline of the Adam and Eve would be right at the $41 area. And how we would do a measured move off that is we'd measure from the $41 area down to the bottom of the atom, the tip of the atom, and then we bring it up to where we broke out and put it on that neckline at $41, and that brings us to the $60 range. Okay, now the other target I have here, the 6406, is a measured move off of the channel where we broke out to the upside, and we'll take this line and put it up to the top where we broke out, and that gets us to the $64 range. Okay, and as you can see, I have a higher target up here. I don't know why there's two price tags there. Let me get rid of one. Okay, and I have that around the $68 to $69 range, guys. And how we come up with that is if we look here, we measure this as a bull flag. Let me do this real quick. Measure the flag pull. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. Apologize. kind of hard to remember, you know, when you guys are watching here. Try to keep it clear for you. But I got to keep the target in there too. So, all right. So looking at this here, let me go back down. We measured this flag pull here, and we would put it to the breakout of the flag, which is right here as a flag. And that would bring me to the $68 to $69 range. And that's where I'm at with Litecoin right now. Guys, we did right here. This, I believe, will become support for us at the $56 range if we do come back down, test it again, and continue on up. But also watch if this line does break. If we break through, then we're looking at the next line of support right around here in the 4 hour, which would be, you know, the $51 to $54 range, depending on when we came down. But guys, I do still believe that we're coming up to these targets here. So let's get into Bitcoin now. And again, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button on the lower right hand side of the screen. Tick the little bell to get you notified when I post new videos, and hit those likes, guys. Let's get this video to 100 likes. I'd really appreciate it. I like to put in the time to show you guys what's going on. I hope this is helping you guys out. Also, if you could, leave comments. Let me know if it's helping you guys out. If you disagree or agree with me, either way, I like to hear you guys' comments. Thanks. So, looking at this falling wedge, you can see I have the two thicker white lines coming down as a falling wedge. So, we are in the daily chart of Bitcoin. I'm going to zoom in now a little bit. Excuse me. And we're going to take a look at the targets. But just like in Litecoin, first we're going to take a look at the bearish targets. And I have them drawn in here. This target right here would get us to break through the bottom of this symmetrical triangle I've had drawn here. But as of right now, we're getting support off at the top of the triangle. So what I would do to get the measured move off of this, if this is a bear flag that we have forming here, is measure this flag pull, and then we bring it down to where it would break out, and that gets us to this 3250 range right in there. Again, guys, this is a bearish scenario, but right now I'm still bullish up towards these targets. Crossing this white line would be extremely bullish if we don't just wick through and go out, but I'm going to show you those targets here in a minute. Actually, let's go into the RSI now and look at what we got going on here. So I had this rising wedge drawn, and that we dropped back through, and then I drew this line, which is a channel that we've been getting support, support, and support, and obviously up here resistance, resistance. But I do see us moving back up now. That's where I come out saying we're going to get more gains. And again, just like in Litecoin, not to say we're going straight to the moon, but I definitely do see some more upward movement here before a correction. A big correction, obviously. We're going to have little corrections in between. So again, zoom into the 4 hour, the same thing. I have this channel drawn in here, and we broke through, came back down, got into the oversold, and broke right back up. And I do believe that we may crawl across this to get our next upward movement. But if we do break through this, obviously it's going to be a nice move up. And keep an eye on the RSI, because we could also go down, guys, and that could be the bearish scenario. So let's go into the 4 hour and look at the targets. I'm sorry, guys, if the chart is messy, but all these lines do mean something to me, and I try to explain it the best I can in the video. It's kind of hard to explain, put your thoughts on video sometimes, and to remember everything. But now we're going to look at these targets and how I got them. So let's zoom in a little bit and see what we're looking at here. All right, so I have the first one here at $4,000 range. And again, guys, these prices aren't exact. These are just, just to give you an estimate and where we're looking at headed. So First off here, same as in everything else, we're going to measure this flagpole here. Measure it right here, and then you can see the little bear or bull flag here. So we would put this to the where it broke out there, and that gets us to the $4,000 range, which is old resistance over here. So that's what gets me this target, guys. And when we hit this, if we get up to this target, I believe we're going to go, you know, this would be to touch the top of this falling wedge here. But we do have resistance before that at the 39.70 range that we got to watch, guys, because we could get rejection there and then come back down to our support at the 38.60 area. And we need to watch that area too, because if we break down through that, obviously we could be headed down to maybe test the top of this symmetrical triangle right at 36.40 range, because that was obviously old resistance become new support. So moving on to the next target, which is 4,075 area, somewhere in here. And we would do the same thing with that flagpole, measure it from here and bring it on up. If we look at this as a whole flag going up here, and or we could look at this as a broadening wedge and break through the top, and that brings us up to the 4,070 range, which would be the top of this falling wedge that I showed you in the beginning. Now, if we get, this could be where we start our next correction and come on back down to test the top of this symmetrical triangle. Or if we continue on up and make a good clean break through this top of this wedge here, or this falling wedge, descending wedge, whatever you want to call it. If we break through and come up to this, our old resistance over here at the 4180, 4180 range, somewhere in that area, then we could be looking obviously at some higher highs. And I'm going to go in and show you the measured move on those. So we'll start out with looking at this 43.68 area, and that is the top of this triangle over here, right in this area. That's why I put this one here, because that's going to be some pretty heavy resistance, I believe. So let's get the measured moves on the higher targets I have. And again, guys, that's only if we break through this white line on the descending wedge or falling wedge. Okay, so looking at this as the neckline at the 4180 area, we're going to do a measured move off it, and looking at this as an Adam and Eve, just like in LITECOIN, and we would put that to where we break out if we were to break out over in this area. And that brings me up to the 52.50 range, which would be old support come new resistance. It's kind of interesting how all these line up, guys. It's and again, I like to keep this simple, guys. I believe all the indicators are a lot of noise, and just give you a lot of mixed signals the more indicators you look at. I like to keep this really simple. And as you can see right now, we're getting support on our EMAs down here. So yeah, that's the measured move off of that one. And then to get this, the $5,000 range, the way I got that one was obviously this symmetrical triangle, and a break of that symmetrical triangle where we broke out originally would be right here, and we do the measured move off of that, and that's what gets me to the $5,000 range, guys. So there is a good chance that we break this falling wedge here, so definitely keep an eye on that, guys. And if we get resistance there, excuse me, we could start a correction from that point. But as of now, like I said, I'm still bullish to it till the $4,000 range anyway. That's where I'm looking now. So yeah, that's where we're at with that, guys. And like I said, I'm going to take a look at the gold to Bitcoin comparison if you haven't seen it. If you look at these two charts, that was Bitcoin, this is gold, and the similarities are amazing. So just going to do a quick recap through this. You know, I drew the white dotted line from the peak to where it broke down over here in gold, and then the solid yellow line from the second peak and where it broke down in gold. And then if we look at what happened, obviously there's a support line drawn on the bottom. We had 1, 2 touches, broke through the yellow solid line, which was on the second peak, and the top peak was the dotted line, which we broke out here. And as you can see, we started moving up from there. And then this is what happened. Not to say it's going to happen like this in Bitcoin, guys. It might be, you know, more sideways action before up, but it is possible, and we need to keep that possibility in our mind that this, you know, is definitely possible. Now I'm going to look at the Bitcoin chart. Same thing, the white dotted line from the peak to where it broke down. Solid yellow line to the peak where it broke down. Solid yellow trend line on the bottom. And the same as in gold, we had 1, 2 touches. We've broke through both these lines. As you can see, it isn't skyrocketing up like it was in gold, but we are getting momentum to the upside. And if we look at this 200 EMA is around the $4,800 range, which, if you remember, I was saying that we could possibly go up to the $5,300 range. And if that happens, I do believe that 200 EMA will become support at that point, possibly. If it does, then obviously, you know, we may have a slight gradual move up and continue on up from there. Also, I want to look into the monthly RSI and just show you the comparison from the 2014 bull run to the, obviously we went into the bear market, and I've had these two arcs drawn here, and this was the last bear market, 2015 bear market. So I put an arrow on each low. There was 4 lows over here, and I did the same on the 2017 or 2018 bear market, 4 lows. And as you can see over here, after we bottomed out, you know, sideways action until we came over and tested the arc again. Now we're getting sideways action, may get a little bit, another tick down, and then somewhere, you know, in summertime, June or July, I believe, when we start the nice move up. And obviously, if you look at the peak over here, was in December of 2017. And if this arc follows the same way, we could be looking at, you know, May of 22 possible. But it's not, no guarantees, you know. We could go up a little bit quicker on this one. We could take longer. But I definitely do think the lows are in, guys, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you my opinion. So I don't know, if you like the video, guys, please click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post videos so you don't miss out on anything. And leave your comments, guys. I really like to read your comments, and like I said, it helps the channel out. And smash those like buttons. Let's get 100 likes for this video. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.